Welcome to What's So. We have an essay today, the 21st of November, 2024. Climate survival. It ain't gonna happen unless you're a moss piglet. Let's look at this. There is a rhythm to denial, a pulse that beats softly beneath the clamor of urgent warnings and unmet deadlines. It's the rhythm of a species, that'd be us, unable to confront its own reflection, preferring instead the soothing lull of half measures and endless meetings. We've known this was coming for decades, and instead of doing something meaningful, we've been putting lipstick on a hog that's headed for the barbecue while patting ourselves on the back for being aware. Awareness doesn't cut it anymore. This isn't about saving the planet now. It's about admitting we're screwed and figuring out what that means as we spiral towards collapse. So what's our predicament? Civilization hums with energy, its lifeblood drawn from the veins of the earth. We build, we consume, we exhale carbon with the inevitability of waves lapping at the shore. But now the shores are crumbling. The oceans hold the heat of a century's anthropocentric hubris, and even if we stop today, that heat would radiate upward, inexorable and unyielding. That's right, we built our entire global civilization on burning stuff. And now we're shocked. The house is on fire. The kicker? Cleaning up our act, reducing emissions, scrubbing the air, makes the planet heat up faster thanks to something called the aerosol masking effect. It's like trying to quit smoking, but dying of withdrawal instead. No win here, folks. And what problems come from this predicament? There's a cruel poetry to feedback loops, each one amplifying the next. The Arctic sheds its ice, the ocean swallows the sun's heat. Permafrost exhales methane, ancient and lethal, into an atmosphere already gasping for balance. Each step accelerates the spiral, a dance of destruction choreographed by nature's immutable laws. One bad thing leads to another, and before you know it, we're caught in an apocalyptic Rube Goldberg machine. Ice melts, check. Methane leaks, check. Forests burn, crops fail, people riot, check, check, and check. It's a cascade of bad decisions and worse luck, and we're all just along for the ride. So what can we do that still won't work? They speak of solutions with a strange reverence, as if reciting incantations will reverse the tide. Global cooperation, technological miracles, behavioral shifts. These are talisman of hope. Yet each one, examined closely, is as fragile as frost on a spring morning. Global cooperation? Yeah, sure. Because the world's superpowers sure have a great track record of playing nice. Technology. Let's pin our hopes on stuff that either doesn't exist or costs more than anyone is willing to pay. Behavioral change, please. Most people can't even change their diets, let alone their entire way of life. The solutions sound great on paper, but fall apart in reality. So how much time do we have? The clock's hands move with a terrible certainty, each tick marking another year to lost indecision. The science is clear and the timeline unforgiving. 5 years, maybe 10. Beyond that, the thresholds are crossed, and what remains is the long, slow unwinding of what we once called progress. Look, time's up. We're not in the let's fix this stage anymore. We're in the how bad is this going to get phase. And the answer is pretty damn bad. The oceans are not going to cool down, and the ice isn't going to magically refreeze, and we're not going to wake up one day as a global kumbaya circle. It's over, and the sooner we admit it, the better. Feedback loops have their consequences. Imagine a world where rivers dry before they reach the sea, where storms howl with a ferocity that rips apart the land. Crops wither under a merciless sun or raging floods. Forests burn until the air itself becomes unbreathable. Migration becomes the only option. But there's no refuge, only borders bristling with fear and conflict. And when the food runs out and the water's gone, people aren't going to politely line up for their share. They're going to fight. Wars, riots, full-on social breakdown. The ones who cause this mess the most, the rich and powerful, will be chilling in their bunkers, on their islands, on their yachts, eating rehydrated, freeze-dried steak with a sprinkle of salt and pepper and a tall glass of 1967 Chateauneuf du Pape, while the rest of us tear each other apart over the last Pop-Tart. There's a strange solace in facing the inevitable. We were always going to die at some point. We knew the earth would persist, its rhythms altered, but unbroken. For those who survive, the future will demand a reckoning, not just with what was lost, but with how to begin again. Perhaps there's a wisdom in collapse, a lesson written in the ashes. Can't we fix it? Nope, it ain't going to happen. We're not going to save the world, and we're not all going to make it. But maybe, the survivors will figure out how to not screw it up next time. That's the best case scenario. The worst case? Well, at least the cockroaches and moss piglets will inherit, eventually, a cleaner planet.